Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Advanced Course in Drones and Development. Today, we are going to be talking about medical drones, and we are going to be specifically talking about a use case which has been experimented and gone more than just a trial. It's now become a pilot project, and this successful pilot project has been appreciated and awarded across the world. And to talk about this and their personal experience and story is Biplav Pageni from Nepal Flying Labs. Biplav, welcome to the course.
Thank you, Ruchi. Thank you for inviting me here. And hello, everyone. I'm Biplav, and I'm from Nepal Flying Labs. And we at Nepal Flying Labs use robotics, especially unmanned aerial system, for social good applications, particularly in humanitarian action, local capacity building, and medical cargo drone. That's what I'm going to talk about now. So let me just share my screen. So let me start with the problem. And like in Nepal, it is a very known fact that more than 80% of the people live in rural areas, and among them, 50% are living in very mountainous and hilly regions, which is very poorly accessible to better healthcare. Uh, it takes more than 6 hours to travel between house and healthcare, proper healthcare facilities in and on top of that, the density of qualified physicians is very low, as 74 per 1,000 people. And it's grown drastically when we move towards the western rural regions. People are dying with a simple disease due to remoteness of these villages, and health facilities are not easily accessible. As you can see, this is a map of Bhutan district, and as you can see, it takes a long time to travel through road indicated by the red line when you go from hospital to village 1 or village 2. But if the same distance is covered by a drone, then it's more convenient and easier, shown by the green line. Talking about the reasons for poor rural healthcare, firstly, the laboratories in rural
Excuse
areas
me.
are not
Hello.
well
Excuse me,
equipped,
Biplav sir. Are you sharing
and
the
people
screen?
tend to stay at locations.
Hello. Are you sharing the screen because it's not visible
Hello.
right now? Sorry to interrupt you. Are you sharing the screen because it's not visible?
Yeah.
Are you sharing it right now?
Let me just check that. All right, is this visible now?
Yes, now it's visible. Yes,
All
thank
right.
you. Now it's
Thank you.
visible.
Thank you. So yeah, talking about the reasons for poor healthcare. Firstly, the laboratories in rural locations of Nepal are not well equipped, and medical personnels, they tend to stay at cities and other locations, urban locations with proper facilities for the career. Along with that, there have been instances like drug stockouts of many of the 22 essential drugs. Uh, on top of that, youths in rural places, they migrate to cities and other countries for better opportunities, leaving the most vulnerable and the old families behind. The lack of proper accessibility to infrastructure that stems from harsh topographical condition is the chief reason for Nepal having one of the poorest rural healthcare. Here you can see in the screen how people are being transported, walk through the narrow road, um, and being carried out, and then walking. You can also see on the right side of right bottom, people walking in a very dangerous narrow path. So this is the real condition of rural Nepal. Uh, Therefore, uh, the solution is a drone optimized therapy system uh, to aid rural healthcare through this project. In DROTS optimized therapy system, which is also known as DROTS, we facilitate the collection of sputum samples from rural health post in Bhutan district. And this is done for rapid diagnosis using a gene expert diagnostic tool, particularly for tuberculosis patient. As shown in this slide, we are aiming to find the missing cases, missing TB cases in western rural Nepal in Bhutan district, which is 450 kilometers west of the capital city of Nepal. For this, we are using this drone, a customized DJI M600, which is 15.5 kg of weight, and we have customized it into uh, a cargo, a medical delivery system using a 3D printed cargo box. It is fusion deposition modeling has been used to 3D print this cargo box, and this can carry up to 16 sputum samples. This drone is controlled with a ground station application, which has all the features that a regular drone remote controller has, and along with some additional features that aids autonomous landing and takeoff point and all other systems. And also, this has been translated in Nepalese language uh, for easier convenience for the local health workers. The app can be used in Android devices. We use tablets as it has bigger display and it's easier to navigate. Uh, Talking about the whole process of how the sputum samples is taken and is collected, let me just briefly explain you that the community health workers in Bhutan, they visit houses of patients after contact tracing, and they collect the sputum samples and provide it to the nearest rural health post. There are two drone labs in Bhutan with gene expert diagnostic tools, Bhutan District Hospital and Bhingri Primary Healthcare Center. Um, these are the two locations where our drone labs are established, and then the rural health post, they first uh, call for the drones, and the drones are flown to the rural health post where the drones is landed by the in-house personnel, and also through the citizen autonomous landing system. I'll talk about that in the later slides. The clinical samples are loaded into the drone cargo box, and finally it is dispatched back to the drone labs where the tests are performed. The drone performs multiple flights when necessary, with each flight taking about, in average, 5 minutes to complete. This project was successful by going through 8 implementation phases, as shown in the figure. Uh, so let's start with the fun. It all started with the formation of a project committee, which consisted of several organizations or consortia. BNMT as health partner, Drone Nepal, Nepal Flying Labs as the technical team, We Robotics as the team leading drone customization development, Stony Brooks University as the project management, and Liverpool School of Tropical Medicine as the team providing mentorship, capacity building for research and laboratory strengthening. As this was being done for the first time in Nepal, we had to knock on several doors of these different government agencies, which was one of the most stressful phases of the whole project. It took a lot of time, like a lot of time. Uh, Many things had to be explained to the bureaucrats a number of times, and after hassling for months and months, we were able to receive permission with the help of these 12 government agencies, and we were able to operate the beyond line of visual sight operations for a DROTS project. Thirdly, community engagement is very crucial while executing any social development project. With that, our fieldwork started with a community engagement program where we organized different level of sensitization workshop, as it was the crucial initial need before inauguration of the project. Community consultancy and sensitization workshop were organized at different levels, from municipal level to ward level, to educate local people and officials about the benefits of technology and what the project is all about. Moreover, talking about the next step, Nepal rural areas of Nepal lack accurate updated maps, and the pilot team required high resolution map of health facilities and the rural health post to plan tentative takeoff landing sites, including the emergency landing places. Um, so we had to map all those 12 health posts and two central health centers, and this was done. Talking about the fifth stage, using the drone maps that were mapped in the previous stage, flight routes were carefully created using a software called Q ground control. Uh, for each path and intermediate stations or emergency landing was also uh, managed because the drones really need to uh, find a location if there is any complications or the battery is uh, lowering down. So after a series of test flights and detailed field mapping and analysis by the technical team, on 2nd of June 2019, the project was officially started, and the project started with the presence of all the government officials that helped us reach to this uh, state. The first official flight took off from Bhutan to Dharmavati Health Post on June 16th, and the flight operations are currently being done in 8 out of the 12 health posts, and every week 10 flights are being conducted. In average, weekly about 80 sputum samples are being collected. The longest route was recorded to be 6.7 kilometers, and as I told earlier, it normally takes about, in average, 5 minutes for the drones to reach there. Um, we had to go through a series of technical challenges to reach this level of capacity. So let me briefly go through such kind of technical challenges that we had to go through. As I already mentioned, we had to deal with the permission process for several months, and that was one of the biggest challenge we had for this project. Moving on to the field, we faced different meteorological and technical challenges. The GSM network suffered from high latency and unavailability in different locations, and GPS was not that optimal and reliable, and it was not really accurate while landing. On the other side, the non-technical staffs who were needed to operate the drones, the community health workers or the hospital workers, um, they had a hard time to know how to operate the system. So these were the challenges we had in the field. Now, how we overcome these challenges, let me go through that. We licensed with more than 12 government agencies for permission, as I explained earlier, and uh, with several months of dedications, we were able to get the BBLOS flight permissions. We also procured a custom low-powered network on the 2.4 gigahertz band, and the range of the radio was limited to 2 to 3 kilometers in line of sight. So, in order to keep constant contact with the drones, uh, um, each tablets that we were using had to be installed with a relay station. Uh, Different protocol to verify whether at least one flight had to be taken to tackle the meteorological conditions. Simple step-by-step standard operations were found. Also, to aid the ease of operations for the non-technical staffs, we developed Nepali manual that was very helpful for them to understand how to operate the system. For the inaccuracy of the landing and GPS, we used a QR-based landing site. So we had a QR mat which the drone searched for and that should really helped us to make a very precision landing. Overall, with these, we were able to make a drone that was very autonomous, simple to use, reliable, and affordable to operate. After all these hassles, technical challenges, and tackling all those challenges with solutions, we were able to get a few outcomes for the project. Now, the drones are fully operational since June 2019, which connects primary healthcare center with four different rural health posts, and also Bhutan Hospital with other four different rural health posts. The longest route covered is 6.7 kilometers, while the high altitude difference between landing zones is 900 meters. So here you can see the road travel time in Morse code, and Bhutan Hospital is about 4 hours, while a drone can bring the sample in just 5 minutes. Uh, in the first phase, we have conducted about 294 flights, collecting 744 sputum samples, out of which 26 have been diagnosed as active TB case. And this is the first time a drone flight permission was obtained for beyond the line of sight operations. And this was possible by getting permission from 12 government agencies. The drone flight is currently operational in 8 of the 12 health posts, and we have successfully implemented the precision landing at both locations for autonomous flight. This data is for the phase one. We have completed the phase one of the project, and we'll get to the end after getting the real data after some time. There are two major, talking about the sustainability, there are two major stakeholders for this project. Uh, First, the patient, and the healthcare personnel. In case of tuberculosis, most patients are either elder or they are very young children, and it is very tiring and time consuming for them to visit a hospital for diagnosis. So this project directly helped these two stakeholders, because drones now can transport their sputum samples in a very short time without having them to visit the doctors. Also, the patients now can take medicine regularly and also remind themselves the right time for medicine intake using this smart pill box. This project is following a very sustainable approach in terms of operation. The majority of medical drone projects that are being operated in other nations are handled by foreign experts. But the unique aspect of our project is that it is completely handled by locals who were initially empowered with technical trainings. This provided opportunities for the locals to be engaged in this project, a challenging project, first of its kind. Uh, the biggest impact which this project has created in terms of sensitizing the local government and the federal ministries in Nepal. Prior to this project, drones in healthcare were limited to just a possible concept. But now, the consortia of several agencies, including healthcare partners, government and non-government agencies, we have proved that regular drones can be customized and used for rural healthcare in Nepal. Uh, this has also helped us convince the ministry and people at decision making level to believe that drones can help the Ministry of Health and Population and reach the most vulnerable populations in a very short time with higher efficiency. Uh, Drones are cleaner solutions to existing fossil fuel counterparts. In our field of operations, it can travel up to distance in less than 5 minutes, while the same delivery would take a much longer time and also using a fossil fuel vehicle. Therefore, this directly aids decreasing the use of vehicle consuming fossil fuel. Furthermore, the drone makes use of fusion deposition modeling parts such as 3D printed cargo box that we talked about earlier. This is a very added manufacturing method that generates no manufacturing waste compared to other manufacturing processes which are normally subtractive. So, what is very unique about this project? What makes us different? So, what makes us really different is that we have formed a unique consortium with the presence of government, non-government, private research, and non-profit entities working together in this social good project. Then the project is owned by district health office itself. This is also one of a kind project in South Asia. The operations are fully handled by the healthcare workers, which connects advanced diagnosis tools such as gene expert machine to the rural population. Uh, this was very possible with modification of easily available commercial drone, integrated with a 3D printed cargo box, specially designed to hold sputum samples. And we already talked about the precision landing system for autonomous landing. And after the patients are diagnosed, the smart bill box help to monitor their medicine intake. Uh, with the first phase, we have proved that a medical cargo drone is possible, and it can create an impact in lives of the rural population in Nepal. With this ready-to-use replicable system, we have planned phase two as an expansion and replication to the current drone network. We want to connect the rest of the rural health posts. As I said earlier, only 8 of the 12 health posts were connected before, but now we want to connect all 12 of the 12 health posts. And we also want to start uh, transporting other medical samples and supplies. We also want to tower cold chain enabled cargo boxes that are not really readily available in Nepal, but we really want to do some vaccine and other medical supplies transportations too. So this is something we want to do, and for that we are also looking for new partnerships and other organizations interested in this sector. And we want to operate more flights, collect more samples, engage more locals, and uh, the flight operations to the locals and create more employment opportunities. Saying that, it is often said that drones are the future for air cargo, but I believe drones are the present of air cargo deliveries, and we have been using it to save lives in Nepal. So, if you have any questions related to the project, please go ahead. Uh,
Thank you so much, Biplav. I would request the participants to either ask the questions by unmuting themselves, or you can put it in the chat. So this is indeed an amazing project, Biplav, and I've been fortunate to be a very small part of it, if not much, at least on the inaugural day, if not more than
yeah.
anything else. But very good that it's going on so far. And maybe I can ask you a question: Is
Yes. Sure.
what have been the limitations of the current platform, the drone platform that we've been using?
The limitation is in terms of range, because the hardware that we are using it doesn't really go that far. But having said that, even if we procure something that can go further, the topographical conditions of Nepal uh, kind of blocks the transmission between the drones and the remote control. So it's very hard for the connectivity. So connectivity is a major concern, also with the hardware that we have now, and also for future. Uh, One solution for it is to use Landsat, the satellite communication, but that can be very expensive.
So how are the expenses currently being handled? Like who's spending and who's, is there any income model out of it?
It's based on a project model. So currently, as I talked earlier about the phase one, we did the project with BNMT, Nepal Flying Labs, and then other members who funded the project. Nick Simons, Tony Brooks, and Liverpool School of Tropical Medicine. They all had some part in it. The phase two that we started right before the first lockdown, it was more of funded by BNMT UK, and BNMT and Drone Nepal and Nepal Flying Lab, we were scaling and continuing the operations. But sadly, due to lockdown, we are not being able to uh, uh, run the operations. And also to add on to your previous question, battery is something that is also bothering us, because lithium-ion battery, they just have health up for about 2 years, and as our drones depend on them very much, procuring just batteries is very hard, and it has been a hassle to procure batteries from outside.
So, what would your recommendations be for another country which is looking to start their drone operations for medical cargo?
My recommendation would be to procure more batteries and have a spare batteries, a set of batteries, and also one extra drone, because we really don't know when it might crash, or some technical faults might come in, and also to find the right hardware, because uh, before, when we started our project, we didn't really have that much choices, but now in the market we see a lot of drones. Obviously, I would recommend them to do a good trade-off between all drones available in the market, and then choose the right hardware for their allocation.
Okay. Hello, Biplav.
Hello.
I have a question. So, as in the starting, you have said
Yes,
that
Ananya.
first you find X number of tuberculosis patient in that particular village area, right? So, in the beginning of the project, which step one should go for first? Like first to find the problem or the find the patient and which kind of medicine they want, or first to design a proper project, a proper model, and then find out the actual ground condition where they can deploy the project.
Before starting any project, it is always recommended that you start with the problem, because whatever we do is solving the problem. So first, we always need to find the problem, and according to what the problem is, we need to customize our solutions and our steps accordingly. So that's what we did in our project too. Uh, our health partners were working in Western rural Nepal to find the missing TB cases, and as most of the people were living in remote areas with scattered locations, it was very hard for community health workers uh, to rapidly diagnose everything at the same time. So we used a drone system as an intervention to aid the collection of sputum samples for the diagnosis. So it always starts from the problem, and then the rest comes follows.
Okay, thank you.
So, Biplav, when we compare Droughts project with, let's say, a company like Zip9, what are the major differences that you see, and where would you look at, like, the aspirations for a country? Like, let's say, I mean, what we are doing in Nepal is maybe diagrammatically opposite to what Zipline is. Zipline is completely owned by a particular company, and
Yeah.
what Nepal is doing is like a consortia coming together, and there are different stakeholders which are co-owning the project. So which kind of model do you think it's more scalable, more feasible, and more affordable?
To talk about that, Zipline is more as a drone as a service kind of private company, which has been doing really great in this industry. But their focus is mainly in uh, areas where they can get uh, lots of uh, uh, lots of delivery orders. So it's about daily six. I read it somewhere. It's daily 600 deliveries they do. So to have that much orders, it's very hard in Nepal, because if we move to the rural locations, uh, the people are living in a very scattered and dispersed manner, and having such kind of large orders for drone service is very rare. So for Nepal, it's always better if we are talking about the rural diverse communities, that we do these projects in a not-for-profit model. But if we want to do something like zipline, then it should be in the urban areas for the sustainability of the project. So if, for suppose we want to do something in Nepal, we could connect hospital in Kathmandu and help them transport essential medicines or blood samples from one hospital to another, or from blood banks to a hospital, which could actually save lives rather than just transporting them through ambulances or other cold chain enabled logistics. So it depends on which area that you want to work in.
Got it. Any more questions? Any comments from anyone? So this is Nikita Sheshna. She is asking, while delivering health services, how was the response of the local people? Because there are some regions in Nepal where people are reluctant to get the health service itself. Also, some might not be able to afford it. So, are they provided this free of cost? Can you share your experiences about this?
Yes, this was provided free of cost, and also uh, the National TV Board was TV Center was also involved in this project, along with the District Health Office. But yeah, when people are diagnosed, firstly they don't really want to provide their sputum for the test, and even if they provide after being diagnosed as active, there are some patients who are very reluctant, and they don't really want to take the medicines, and it is very hard to convince them. So there was one case where our health partners, they had to talk to the local authority, some kind of a ward chairman, and bring him down and let asked him to convince the patient to actually start taking medicine, because it was for their own benefit. So these kind of situation have been going on, but we have found some kind of solutions to tackle it according to the problem. Did I answer your question?
And so, also talking about Biplav, about very difficult areas, for example, in the northern part of Nepal, the real Himalayas. What kind of operational difficulties do you perceive there? I mean, what kind of drones would you want there to operate, and how difficult it might get from your current experience?
Talking about flying in Bhutan. Bhutan is not that really high, and it's kind of a hilly or near river basin. So even about talking of flying drones in Bhutan, uh, while going from point A to point B, we had actually two kind of routes depending upon the time of the day that we are flying. For suppose it's in the morning time before 11, so we used to go to we used to choose the route that was the default one. But after 11, we experience stronger winds, and that actually affects the drone's performance and battery health. So we chose the route that would avoid such kind of windy situations, and go maybe a minute longer, uh, uh, but they would cancel out these strong winds. So this was something that was challenging, and the other was rain. Our drones were not completely waterproof, so in case of rainfall and thunderstorm, we had to stop the operations. Talking about flying drones in mountainous regions, colder and more snowy kind of places, uh, the drone health and performance drops drastically. Even the battery performance goes down about like 60 to 80%. It depends on the manufacturer too, but it drops down drastically because of the cold environment. And as the air density is very low, the drone actually has to perform with more strength. The blades has to rotate faster, and in order to make it stable. So this is the reason why drones perform slightly badly in these kind of harsh cold environments.
Got it. So there's a question, what is the minimum cost for this type of drone? As I think you also have to add some extra features for this, like for temperature controlling into your box. And also, how do you create community engagement into rural areas as they almost know nothing about drones?
Talking about the cost for the drone, we have used easily available Chinese drone manufactured drone DJI M600, which costs around $5,000 and few thousand more for additional Raspberry Pi and then the cargo box. Currently, the cargo box is not cold chain enabled, so it's just a 3D printed box with PLA plastics. And talking about the community engagement programs, we usually follow the model of bringing together the uh, 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 we talk with the local stakeholders and call the heads of these stakeholders like the wardman, ward chairpersons, the mayor, and we also bring other organizations that are working there. Maybe it can be a voluntary organization or other non-profit organizations, schools, and such kind of places. We also think that schools are the best places to actually aware people about this technology, because children, they are open to new technologies. Sometimes mature people, they find it harder to understand newer technologies, and sometimes they might even get scared of it. But students, they are very excited, especially the kids, and they can also go back to their houses and teach their parents about these kind of new technologies. And we have seen students teaching their parents how to use newer technologies, mobiles, computers, and laptops. So we did many awareness programs in schools too. Uh, how we did this was we actually made a course starting from what are drones, and drones are not only a weapon for mass destructions. It has so many social good applications and such kind of introduction to drone slides. And then we talked about our project. So whether it was a community engagement program with multiple stakeholders, or in the school, we used the same slides and uh, courses that helped us create more awareness about this project.
That's amazing. Thank you. Any more questions and comments, please?
I have one
Yes,
more
Ananya.
question.
Yes, Ananya.
Uh, in normal medical sciences, patient-doctor interaction is very much important, right? So normally when we have access to road and other hospital infrastructure, we just go to the doctor, meet him, and whatever he or she prescribes us, we want for the delivery. Whether and delivery can be we can buy from the shop, or we can just go for any online medicine delivery service. But here you are saying that you are collecting the samples and the disease is diagnosed, and then you are giving them the medicines. So patient doctor interaction is impossible. So is it not affecting the proper health cure? Ma'am, you
Uh,
are Dr. Ruchi, ma'am. So I think you can also describe this question very well.
Uh, Firstly, I'm not that medical expert, but to answer to that, I would say that we are using drones to actually collect the sputum samples and to find the missing cases. Uh, After we diagnose them, then they are being called upon, and then that's when the treatment starts. So they do have interaction with healthcare personals. I don't know if they actually contact the doctors or not, but they do talk with healthcare personnel, and they are the ones prescribing the
Biplav, do you have the
medicines.
video? Do you have the
Uh,
DROTS video?
yeah, I think it's in YouTube. I'll just see.
I found it. I'll just play it for them.
All right.
Do you want to play?
No, you can go ahead.
There are places where there are no roads. Beautiful places with wonderful people. Places which are isolated, remote. Places where, if you get sick, you may not be able to reach medical care. Where, if you have a disease, you may never even get diagnosed. In remote areas, the sick may have to walk for hours or even days to visit a doctor. If they are very sick, they may not be able to complete this walk. They stay at home. They do not get diagnosed. They infect their loved ones. They do not receive life-saving treatment. Many of them die. What if, instead of asking the sick to go seek health services elsewhere, we brought those health services to the sick? How many lives could we save?
अनुभवता मेरो चाहिँ खाँचो लाग्यो खाँचो लाग्ने बेला चाहिँ अलि रगतको चाहिँ चिता देखो त्यसले गर्दाखेरि म अस्पताल जान गएर जाँच जाँदाखेरि टिबी बिमारी देखो मैले 6 महिनासम्म बसी 6 महिना तक मैले कुरेर मेरो शरीरमा चाहिँ नि खाँचो धेरै लाग्यो त्यहीबाट सर्कुटाएर मैले सारेँ कागज पत्र निकालेँ लगभग मेरो उपचार पुरा भइसक्यो
यहाँ कति घरहरू यस्ता पनि छन् जहाँ बाटोघाटो गइरहेको छैन हामीहरूलाई त्यहाँ पुग्नको लागि 4 देखि 5 घण्टासम्म पनि लाग्ने गरेको छ यहाँ टिबी चाहिँ व्यापक रूपमा फैलिएको जस्तो मानिन्छ र कतिपय व्यक्तिहरूलाई हामीलाई टिबी भएको छ भन्ने पनि थाहा जानकारी छैन यस्तै कठिन चुनौतीहरूले गर्दा नै नयाँ प्रविधिहरूको विकास हुन्छ
My name is Uttam Pudasaini.
नमस्कार मेरो नाम सीता जी
मेरो नाम गंगाराम बुढाथोकी हो
My name is Pradeep Khatiwala.
मेरो नाम विशाल सुवेदी
My name is Suman Chandragram.
My name is Raghu Tetal.
मेरो नाम कुबेर श्रेष्ठ
I'm Felix.
I'm Audrey.
I'm Johan. I'm Sebastian.
My name is Shraddha Acharya. मेरो नाम साबुत्रा रिजाल म चाहिँ प्युठान जिल्लाको महिला स्वास्थ्य स्वयंसेविका
We are working together.
हामी सबै साथमा काम गर्दै छौं
We all work together to find and treat tuberculosis in hard-to-reach areas using the most advanced technology available.
Drones.
To fly laboratory samples from the field to a lab.
Video tutorials.
For healthcare workers and patients to understand and take control.
I'll play one more video. I'm not sure if you've understood the operation from this, but there's like one more video which I should show you. Hold on. This would make it very clear for you.
हेलो हजुर प्रवीण बोल्दैछु जिल्ला अस्पतालबाट
हजुर म सीता सेउरीमा हेल्पसबाट यहाँ खकार सङ्कलन भएको छ तुरुन्तै ड्रोन पठाइदिनु होला
हामी सैरिवाङ हेल्थ पोस्टमा ड्रोन पठाउन रेडी छौँ के त्यहाँको ल्यान्डिङ एरिया क्लियर छ
ल्यान्डिङ एरिया क्लियर छ
अनि त्यहाँको Okay, ready to take off.
Proceed. Clear, sir.
So what we understand from this video is, Ananya,
Yes, ma'am.
did you see this video?
I understand. Yes,
What
ma'am.
did you understand?
Okay, my question was wrong. I was unable to understand, imagine the whole situation because I live here in a city. So I was thinking with a very narrow perspective that the patient should meet the doctor. I was not able to imagine that situation. The video properly made me understand, okay, why this service is so much
Okay.
necessary there.
I told you about my story, right? On day one.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So what we see in cities is just probably 10% or 15 to 20% true. That applies only for a very less amount of world population. For the rest of the world, the situation is very different. You do not have doctors everywhere. Even in our country, even in India, even in Nepal, even in Bangladesh, I would believe the primary healthcare is provided by the community health workers, or something that we call ACDDs in India. So wherever there are female health workers, which is like a model which has been promoted by WHO. So they have these people from the communities. They are selected from the communities. These women are trained to be health workers, to to collect samples, to give injections, to give medicines, to follow up, to do screening, to give vaccinations, to assist in childbirths. So they have these roles that they play where doctors are not required. And doctors are available in, let's say, maybe one in primary health center, one in community health center. But these female health workers, they go from door to door assisting patients in their treatment. So the current model that we are having in Nepal, where drones are helping these female health workers do their job better, because they have been given a target that you have to eliminate tuberculosis from Nepal. That's the bigger goal. And for doing that, I don't know how much you understand tuberculosis, but it's a long treatment. It's like 6 to 9 months of constant treatment which have to be given to patients, and there has to be a steady follow-up. Not a single dose of medicines have to be missed by the patients. So this needs constant attention, and this can only be given by the female health workers, which go from door to door to ensure that every patient who has tuberculosis is diagnosed in time and treated in time and treated completely. So the treatment compliance matters the most in tuberculosis more than any other disease. That's the reason here we have to empower the female health workers with this entire model, where female health workers meets the patient. She collects the sputum samples the way she always does. But if you take the road route, it would take about 6 to 7 hours, if I'm not wrong, to reach the lab where the gene testing is done. Now, this is an advanced testing which gives you a sure shot conformity of tuberculosis cases. So that lab is, you can't have these too many in a particular area, because these are really expensive. That's the reason you can have them only in certain places, but you can bridge the gap between the community and these labs by the aerial route. Okay, so if you depend upon the road network, sometimes the samples may not even reach in time before they get expired, because you need to reach the lab right in time so that the accuracy of these tests is increased. Okay, that's the reason the drones are bridging these gaps. Similarly, if we imagine any other situation, it could be vaccines. Now, if you need to have a vaccine supply, let's say there's a vaccination schedule in a particular country, and all the children on certain day have to be given, let's say, polio vaccinations, like a vaccine drive. So if these children are vaccinated on the same day, then it's great, no? So there has to be uniformity maintained across the country to ensure that the particular virus is completely eliminated from the community. To make sure that happens, the vaccines have to reach the villages in time. Sometimes that's possible, many times that's not possible, because the road conditions cannot be completely dependent upon. That's the reason drones do this thing. So it's not about meeting doctors or getting the prescriptions. Even if I meet the doctor and doctor writes a prescription, the drug has to be available where you are living. Mathura, Mumbai, yes, everything is easily available, but many places it's not. The stocks are not there. Make sense?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for the explanation.
And I really feel you should travel more, because when you travel, you see things yourself, and then you understand the use cases much better.
Yes, ma'am.
Do we have more questions? So I guess we can close the session then. And if you have more questions, you can either write it in the feedback form, or you can talk to us. We'll have a couple of more sessions on medical drone deliveries, so we can continue that. And once again, I would like to thank Biplav for coming to this course and sharing his experience and his story so generously with all of us. So I'm sure that the students who are attending this course right now live would also benefit, and also the ones who would watch this recording later. Thank you, Biplav.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. B. It was my pleasure to be here and share my experiences. And like, if anybody has any questions, then you can just add me in LinkedIn and message me or message Ruchi, and we can try to explain more about this noble project. And thank you all.
Thank you. Bye-bye.